We know for a fact they've lied about his health. We know that 100% for a fact, number one. Number two, we know, watching Collusion in 2016, he is significantly slowed down. And we also know that he has a surprising lack of information about things that he should know about, but it's hard to compare prior to this because he is a dumb. So the fact that he's mixing up names, not remembering people that he's appointed to positions, not knowing all the time where he's going, and that all of his executive orders have to be explained to him. He can't even read off a teleprompter, and the only thing he can present with honor and pride are like renaming things like the DOD or the Gulf of Mexico. So the fifth thing, the only question is it reasonable to infer from that if Donald Trump experienced a health event that led to a severe cognitive impact, like some sort of stroke, would we expect this administration to tell us?
Well, wait, how would you determine that it would be neurological versus physical?
Because when we watch him talk, he's retarded. And now when we watch him walk, he's retarded.
I don't think that's determinative of anything.
The topic for today is whether or not Trump is mentally and physically fit to continue serving as president. Destiny, would you like to go first?
I don't think he's physically fit for the presidency. I think there are two huge issues right now relating to Trump. I think the first is that his default mental baseline is so low that it's almost impossible to even accurately evaluate him from the outside. If you talk to any conservative and you ask them things about Trump, like they make excuses for it constantly. Even like the more centrist actors will admit that like he's always been kind of like wrong when it comes to remembering country names, remembering leaders' names, remembering when the war in Ukraine began, remembering just basic facts about anything, forgetting the fact that he's the one that put in Jerome Powell and saying he doesn't know who did it. Like there's just so many times where he's messed up, but his mental baseline has always been so low, it's hard to even tell if he's getting worse. Although you can tell from his speech patterns and everything that he has slowed down significantly. And then the second issue is that Trump's admin has already shown that they are willing to lie about his medical record. We're now finding out that he has chronic issues relating to delivering blood back to his heart. He's got these massive swollen cankles this is a chronic condition, so apparently it's been hidden for some time period from us, and now we see that he's on a bunch of new drugs related to things that you would use for ischemic strokes. I don't know if that's what's actually happening or not, but the issue is, again, as I said, one, we can't evaluate him from the outside because his mental baseline is already so low, and then two, we already know that his own doctor is willing to lie, like he did about his weight and height as well. So,
and then next, she's right. Do you want to go ahead?
True. I agree that whether or not he's showing signs of dementia or he's always been this stupid is MAGA's cross to bear. But I do know that physically he's very, very old. I believe at this point, the oldest president we've ever had. He's having heart problems, which are very predictable based on his lifestyle. Even the ones that have been officially disclosed, I don't know if that's all his health problems. And I think that makes him a ticking time bomb where there's a reasonable possibility he could drop dead any day, which is bad for long-term policy negotiations, economics, trade, anything like that. Where you need a vested interest in what happens tomorrow to be a good representative of it. And I think other leaders are not going to take him seriously. And I don't think he is thinking with tomorrow in mind.
And then we'll head over to the other side. Vince, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I think Trump is not perfect in terms of health, and I definitely don't want to cover for him, but I have to today. He mentally, I think he's pretty fine. I don't want to compare, but he's definitely better than Biden. And I think he's pretty fit. He might have been better, and he's pretty dumb and does a lot of mistakes. But I don't think he has dementia or anything like that. So I think mentally, unless you consider him mentally ill, which he probably is, I think he's pretty fine. So I think he can run the country.
And lastly, North, you want to go ahead with the opening statement?
If we're going to criticize someone, we got to make sure the criticism is real and not some sort of baseless speculation. The memes are pretty funny, but I've seen pretty much zero evidence that Trump's physical and mental health are to the point that he needs to be like removed from the office of the presidency. Based on the Constitution as we know it, the 25th Amendment and past precedent with other presidents, we can clearly see that I don't like Trump, but I don't see any reason why he should be removed based off of his physical and mental health alone. That's pretty much it.
Okay, with that, y'all can get into it however you want to.
Right, I'm going to kill you. I feel like it's harder because there are questions you could ask to conservatives, but if these two weren't genuinely conservatives, it changes the conversation a little. I think one big issue right now that I would say is a fun test for conservatives. If you were to ask them, could Trump die in any way right now that you wouldn't assume is a conspiracy? I think that most conservatives would actually honestly answer they wouldn't believe it. Like if Trump has a heart attack, they would say he got poisoned. If Trump were to fall down the stairs, they'd say they were oiled up and he slipped. If Trump were to, if anything were to happen to him, I don't even think a conservative could accept that right now. Do either of you disagree with that? I guess it's not relevant necessarily if you're not.
I don't think it's relevant to the conversation about whether Trump is fit or not. Like whether a conservative will accept the fact that Trump is healthy or not doesn't matter to the subject matter.
Kind of, but I think it gives a little bit more weight to the idea that maybe his health is a thing that we should be concerned about, because if Biden's health was like severely failing and Biden were to have an issue, like, I mean, we saw the whole Democratic Party call out Biden and say, "Oh, you need to step down." And then it happened, and then Kamala. Well, it happened in terms of re-election, and then Kamala stepped up instead. But with Trump, the Conservative Party wouldn't be able to do it. So we could literally have a guy rolling around the Oval Office, like forgetting leader names, forgetting people that he's put into power, disappearing from media for 3 or 4 days, not knowing what he's talking. These are all things that he does. Having executive orders explained to him while the shadow government actually runs the organization. Like, these are things that have happened to Trump that I don't even think happened to Biden.
Well, the reason why we know that Trump is, like, he disappears for several days without us like knowing where he is the fact that he's on like a media presence a lot more than past presidents. I mean, you would look at Obama, George Bush, and especially Biden. They were not on the media just as much as Trump is. So I don't think that's necessarily an indicator that Trump's health is failing if he disappears for like 3 days.
Well, true, but they had work schedules posted publicly and publicly available. Trump's schedule was completely cleared. And then after the fact, they put on like one interview appearance on the Wayback Machine. People confirmed that was not there. But we can prove they're working. We know they're doing something even without being on media.
Okay, but how does him canceling an event indicate like some sort of health problem? For all we know, he just didn't want to attend because he doesn't give a fuck, because I don't think he does honestly really give a fuck. And he just blew it off to go golfing. Like, how does that necessarily indicate a health problem?
I don't think it necessarily does, but when this guy's obsessed with media attention, when now we've discovered that there are problems that we only know about because people pointed it out, it's not like they proactively came to us with the chronic venous, whatever it was. It was because people noticed his ankles were huge, and because this guy is trying to dress up his hand every single day when he's getting IVs for whatever medication he's taken, right? This wasn't revealed to us. This was discovered, and they were forced to make a public statement on it after he had said that he was the most open president about his health ever. So we know now they're willing to lie about stuff like that. We know that his weight was a lie in that report published by his friendly doctor. So I mean, like, all of these things taken collectively, while this guy disappears for a few days, the press isn't allowed to get close to take pictures, even though this guy is giving half of his interviews outside of his airplane and his helicopter. Right now, all of a sudden, he disappears for 3 or 4 days. I think that's pretty weird. It's kind of a cause for concern.
Well, it could be a cause for concern, but it's nothing definitive. It's all completely speculative, and especially when you're calling for him to be removed from the office of the president, or when we're determining if he's going to be removable from the office of the presidency. I mean,
it has to be speculative, right? We'll never get anything definitive from them, right?
I mean, no, probably not, unless someone leaks documents. But
so then it has to be speculative,
they do that quite a bit.
Well, but then is it speculative? Is speculation on Trump's health enough to get him removed from the office of the presidency, or give a legitimate enough argument that he should be removed? I mean, take Biden, for example, throughout his entire presidency, we see people constantly criticizing, mostly on the conservative side, but also on the liberal side, as you said, at the very end of his presidency, that Biden's health was not good, and that there should be possible action taken of him, like either like stepping down or like having his advisors do more of the work than what he would be doing. What was I going with this argument?
That might be true that people were worried about something, but that's because Biden's cognitive baseline was way, 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 way higher than Trump's. Trump shows less cognitive ability right now than Biden did at his lowest points.
What evidence do you have for that? Because I've
Trump
seen
arguing with the
Trump
current president of
speeches
Ukraine when Crimea was invaded would be a big one. Him not knowing that he was the one that appointed Powell is a big one. Him having to have every single executive order that he signs explained to him. I couldn't find a single example of Biden having to have his own EOs explained to him. I think that's a big one.
But okay, do you think Trump could? Okay, I personally think that Trump is a chronic liar. Like, can we all?
Do you think he lied when he said he was going to Russia to talk to Putin, but he was actually just going to Alaska? Was that a lie?
I think he just makes shit up when he goes. I don't think that's
now you're doing
necessarily
the thing-
determinative of like a cognitive decline.
Sure. So you're doing
that,
the thing-
like he could just make shit up whenever it's determined, like the whole 2 week shit, Like,
But you're doing the thing right now that I said conservatives would do. That you'll never accept. There is no evidence that we can show, because you'll just say he's making it up, he's memeing, he's joking. This is the same thing conservatives would say.
Well, I'm not saying he's making it up as in like to discredit what he says. I'm just saying that he's just like a chronic liar. And
why would he lie about not remembering appointing Jerome Powell?
Well, it's not him. Well, the reason why he would lie is because he wants to criticize Jerome Powell, right? He doesn't give a. He's like, oh, I don't know who the fuck that guy is, and that's like an insult against him, I guess, because he can't admit that he's the one that.
Why would he lie about when the Ukrainian war started?
Why would he lie? Because he doesn't give a fuck.
Why would
I
he,
think
when he was with the South
there's a
African
president
president and they asked him about the genocide case? Do you remember watching with the South African president?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, he didn't know what that case was about, and he rattled off some nonsense answer about we hope for a good verdict. He has no idea that South Africa is the country that brought the genocide case against Israel. He didn't know about any of these things. Has there ever been moments where Biden has demonstrated that level of a lack of subject matter knowledge on when he's talking to world leaders? What about when the guy was right in front of him, the president of I forget which country? Was it the Netherlands or Denmark or whatever? Was right in front of him and he didn't know who he was. He's like, oh, where's this guy? I'm looking for him. The guy's like, I'm right in front of you.
I think there's a ton of speculation here that he does in fact know everything and then he's lying because he doesn't
Finland.
care about it. I don't think that's been substantiated at all. I think the far simpler explanation is that he just doesn't know. Where is this information that you think he's lying about? Has he ever proven that?
Well, I think my speculation on whether he's lying or not is probably the same amount as my evidence for my speculation is probably as much evidence that you have for your speculation.
Well, no, our evidence that he's saying things that are incorrect. And usually if somebody's saying something that's wrong, it's because they're incorrect about the information. If you're trying to you're giving like an affirmative defense for them being wrong about something, all we've said is he's wrong. The general default explanation is he's wrong because he either doesn't know it or he's losing his mind. But you're saying he's actually faking it. Where are these people who are...
I'm just saying that he doesn't give a fuck. He'll stick with a claim and then he'll just make up whatever the fuck he wants about just to stay with that claim.
Okay, well, if he has that medical ailment, if he's actually like a chronic liar, whatever they call it, a compulsive liar, I think that's a 25th Amendment removable condition anyway, then. That would qualify just as much. Because he can't be trusted then with anything, right?
Well, I guess. Well,
Okay, cool. All right, I'm good with that.
Vince, what do you got to say? You haven't said much so far.
Yeah, I think he also might be just dumb or clueless, more like clueless, like he just doesn't know stuff. But I don't think that qualifies him as mentally unstable or something.
You go back
Is a
to
stable idiot good enough to rule the country?
well, it depends if you elect an idiot to the president of the United States, does that inherently disqualify him like the moment that he steps into office? Like is idiocy a mental disorder? Or
Retardation
narcissism
is.
or mental retardation is? Well, I'd like to see the extra chromosome study on Donald Trump. I think it would be pretty interesting.
I just think it's scary that like this guy seems to be utterly clueless about almost every single thing around him. I couldn't find any clips. I couldn't find any videos or anything of people handing executive orders to presidents for them to sign and explaining them to the president while he's signing them. That's very scary to me. Now, I don't know if it's because Trump is clueless, doesn't care, doesn't have the cognitive capacity to understand them anymore. There is no, I can't find a comparison. Like, what do we make?
Do you think that Trump is actually like the one making game plans when it comes to his presidency? Like when Trump talks about like the South African genocide, do you think he's going through like and doing research on like South Africa, or he's like looking at the news of like, oh, what's going on in South Africa, or is he being like fed information basically?
He's being fed
by
information.
his,
The South African thing came from Elon Musk for 100%.
Yeah. So it could just be that he just doesn't give a shit. He's being fed information and then he'll just spout whatever bullshit he hears.
Yeah, that sounds like a senile
But isn't
person.
the problem?
Sorry.
Well, it is a problem,
Like-
but I'm not sure if you can say that he's a retard because of that.
Hold on. If he spouts whatever bullshit that he hears, is that just the average? Is that a diagnosis of being senile, or is that just like, I don't know, any MAGA supporter ever? Whenever they're hearing whatever they hear on Fox News, they're going to be spouting whatever bullshit that they hear. I mean, it's just.
Well, yeah, but they're
Like, would
supposed
you
to be
call
spouting.
everyone-
When you say spouting bullshit, they're supposed to be getting the bullshit from Trump. He's not supposed to be getting bullshit from
Yeah.
other people.
I think I do think it's legitimately it's a feedback loop. It's like the media will say some bullshit and then Trump will say it, and then the media will take Trump's word and they'll feed it back to the people. Like,
Which is a recipe for insanity. He's drinking from the hose of his own propaganda.
yes, but is that just because? Just because he drinks from his own hose of propaganda, does that necessarily mean that he is mentally deficient enough to not be able to uphold like the office of presidency?
It means he's been shown evidence that he will believe himself and believe he's doing the right thing regardless of what the truth is. And I think that's a concern. There's no accountability to any greater population or medical authority. He's buying his own beliefs from himself.
Yes. I mean, I don't think he has any accountability with whatever he says or whatever he does. But I don't think the mere fact that he doesn't have any accountability when it comes to things like that, and just because you don't have any accountability doesn't necessarily disqualify him medically or physically.
I think here's a question. I think this is the hardest question in the world. What cognitive signs would Trump have to exhibit for us to think that like there might be something going on with him.
Like something that like Biden did on his debates when he was like stuttering completely, like,
Well, he's had
like
that stutter since he was a
signal.
kid in elementary school. So like, how does that prove cognitive decline?
Well,
Forget
that wasn't
Biden.
just that.
We don't. So we've watched Trump like have like mishaps when it comes to speaking. We've watched him mix up names. We've watched him mix up dates. We've watched him mix up geographic locations. Like the only difference is Biden actually tries to find the right. Yeah.
Do you remember the Bushisms from like George Bush and all that?
Yeah.
Like, would you consider that a sign of cognitive decline with George Bush?
No, because Bush was just searching for turns of phrase and was fucking him up. Trump is like saying he's going to Russia when he's going to Alaska. I don't think there was no Bushisms like that. The Bushisms are like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me another time, and or whatever. Like it was him like saying up shit like that.
I think Bush is a great comparative example of like mostly harmless stupidity. I think we're playing with a whole new level here. That's actually a liability to American interests.
Well, we can say that he's stupid, but then again, that goes back to what I was saying before, is just because he's stupid, does that necessarily mean that he's necessarily disqualified from the office of the presidency?
Was he dodging
I think we get
fire when he was on the red carpet, when he was in Alaska, when he was zigzagging back and forth? Was that...
What the fuck are you talking about?
The inability of him to walk straight to the... Do you have the video of this?
Oh,
Riley,
no,
pull it up.
I've not seen that. No.
Pull it up. Somebody pull it up.
Oh, yeah, someone pull it up.
You're gonna put this on me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. All
You're
right.
the host.
All right. Put me to work. All right. Let's see. Dustin, you're talking about when he was walking down the red carpet in Russia, right?
Not in Russia, in Alaska.
In
goddammit.
Alaska. Well, you also
Is that a
messing
sign
up.
of cognitive
It's
decline
also-
right there?
Maybe I need to submit myself for some mental evaluation. All right. Let's see. Trump red carpet.
In the meantime, I think we have jumped past a very important point that was made earlier, where if something did happen to Trump, I think it's enough of a misinformation behind closed doors kind of situation right now with no external accountability, that if something happened to Trump, how long would it be before you knew about it? And could you trust that reporting? I don't think with the structure he's built around himself, we would. And I think that's why people were nervous the past few days.
So I got this pulled up. I'll play this whenever people want me to.
Play it now.
I'm watching. Yeah, play it now.
Is this on your
Okay.
stream or what do we...
It's I'm just to Discord.
Okay. Is it going to pop up as a stream? Is it playing now? Am I stupid?
I shared it to Discord, so you should be able to if you look in the Discord windows, you should be able to see it there.
Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So far, doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
Handshake, all of that is something that both sides will have thought through very clearly. Striking to me, Scott, that you have this setup here.
Look at him on the
sign
left.
says
Watch him here.
Alaska
What's going on here,
2025.
guys?
There's a blue platform for the leaders to stand on, which aides were vigorously vacuuming in the hour leading up to this meeting. But then flanking the stage are F-22 jets.
don't think it looks that
F-22
bad,
jets,
honestly.
noses pointed in
Hold on.
toward where the
Let him
two
walk.
leaders will be standing. It's got to be somewhat unpleasant for Vladimir Putin, at least, to stand underneath that display of American firepower.
Well,
That was a full... He traveled left to right almost
Yeah.
twice.
Left, right, almost back. Yeah.
What's going on there, guys?
Even then, I don't think that's necessarily disqualifying of him remaining in the office as the presidency. I mean, we've had was it FDR was bound to a wheelchair, during I don't know how many fucking years in his term.
Wait, what does that have to
mean-
do with this?
Well, you're saying that his mobility issues would
No, those
disqualify him
were
for
not
being
mobility issues. Those were neurological issues, my friend.
No, you say, neurological issues.
Oh, yeah.
maybe he's just a goofy guy, just walking like a zigzag.
Well, wait, how would you determine that it would be neurological versus physical?
Because when we watch him talk, he's retarded. And now when we watch him walk, he's retarded.
I don't think that's determinative of anything. I mean,
Here's the difference. FDR's legs didn't have any reasonable impact on his heart or his brain, right? That's not what we're seeing here. There's a serious
Are you
risk,
saying
not
that
only
his-
of anything
his-
mental, but also
are you
death.
saying him moving left and right on the red carpet, that's going to have an impact on his brain?
Well, it would be neurological in that it's the nervous system.
How do we know
right?
that it's
Like how you're
neurological?
Yeah, how do we know it's neurological? I'm pretty sure there are other medical things he could possibly have that probably would not disqualify him from the presidency. That would not be neurological, though.
Possibly, but I think the issue is that we don't know. That's the issue. I think there was a good question asked earlier from She's Right of like, if something were going on, like, have they even made an official announcement yet about why he's getting IVs? in the hand?
I'm pretty
They
sure
actually
he's getting
said it was
IVs
due to
because of the
handshakes.
chronic.
Oh,
say
true.
again?
Caroline Levitt.
They
They
didn't
lied
say it
about
was
that.
IVs.
They said it was
said
because of
handshakes.
handshakes.
That's not where the bruise was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Even though it's openly stated he's germophobic and has been for years and doesn't like handshakes and is on the record historically admitting this and tries not to do them when he can. I don't think I've seen him shake a lot of hands lately. I don't know, maybe I missed something. It seems out of character for him. And where the bruise was, if you shake someone else's hand, isn't like where the pressure would be in a handshake. It was by the veins in like the bottom kind of middle of your hand, exactly where they would put an IV. I don't know, but that's a possibility.
But even then,
That goes against what the White House has said.
the getting an IV in his hand for whatever reason it might be. Obviously, it's not for handshaking. That still is not an argument for him being removed from the office of presidency.
Well,
it's still
maybe.
just speculation.
Yeah, it is. But all we can do is
okay,
speculate
you
because
guys
we've already
keep-
said
you-
we can't know. If they're lying
Yeah,
about even
you
that,
guys
what else
keep
are they
going back
lying
to
about?
that point that we can't. Of course, we can't know because this administration lies about fucking everything. Of course, we can't know, but that's still because we can't know. That means that we can't make a determinative factor whether he's healthy or not.
You're correct. I think there could be disqualifying factors right now that we don't know about, which means he should be disqualified and they're hiding it. That is a valid possibility on the table right now, and the White House has done nothing to dispel that.
Okay,
Well, I
so
think
when you're
unless we
talking
know
about a
that, we
president
can't
and you
do it.
don't know what their current health status is, do you assume that they are going to be healthy or are you going to assume that they're going to be unhealthy?
When they're
Like, you're
lying,
making
we would assume they're unhealthy.
You're what they're well. I would say they literally just lie about everything. I don't think that lying necessarily determines one way or another.
What else do they lie about? What do you mean?
Sorry, one second. Let me
Why
get
would they
Vince.
lie
Did
and
you want to
say
say something?
he's
Hold on.
healthy?
Pause. Vince, did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Sorry, you both talking in a second.
Yeah, I just don't think it's disqualifying. Like, even if he has an IV, that's not necessarily a neurological condition. So
Yeah, but we don't know, and he lied about the IV. I don't think they've even publicly acknowledged the IV.
well,
No, they
I
have
mean,
given
if
a
we don't
contract.
know, if we don't know, then how can we disqualify him if we don't know?
Because if they're lying about it, it's because they know it'd be something disqualifying.
Well, we don't know that for sure. It may be, but it may be not.
Why don't I hear it? Let me just give a little bit of background that I think could help the conversation. The reason I wanted to have this panel is because like a week or so ago, there was obviously like the whole weekend where Trump wasn't making any media appearances and he wasn't seen by anybody. And also, like She's Right pointed out, they had cleared his calendar, right? And then added stuff to it after. Now, the thing that got to me that made me want to have people talk about this is that then they had the press conference, which some people have said is kind of like it's functioned like a proof of life conference, essentially, where they did the Space Force announcement. But then one reporter did ask, like, they asked Trump, "Hey, did you hear about any of the claims this weekend or any of the speculation that you may have been dead or that you may have died over the weekend?" And he shrugged it off and like, "No, I didn't hear anything." Right? That to me feels well, I mean, like there's a bajillion things you can make out of it. Like, sure, like Vince, what you're saying, it feels speculative, but that's why I wanted to have this discussed is because, like, is there reason to believe that they're being dishonest, or that if they did know about anything that would be disqualifying, that they would be dishonest about it right now? Because like the idea that they just weren't aware of any of this feels crazy to me. Sorry, that's all I'll say. I'll go back to shutting up.
Is dishonesty a disqualifying factor?
Well,
Is a
it's
cleared record for not doing the job for a whole week a disqualifying factor? Like, regardless of what happened or why, evidently the conclusion was he was not doing the job.
Wasn't dishonesty literally the disqualifying factor for Bill Clinton? Isn't that what he got impeached over?
yes, but that's not
Yes.
over health and like physical.
No, I know.
or-
I was responding to the
Yeah,
dishonesty
yeah.
thing. I think that like there's a partially meme argument, right? That like, well, I mean, we can't know that he's disqualified, but the serious argument behind the meme argument is that we know for a fact that they've lied about his health multiple times. We know that 100% for a fact, number one. Number two, we know, and anybody has to admit, if you watch clips of him now, I get surprised. Watching clips of him in 2016, he is significantly slowed down. Okay, so we know that he's significantly slowed down. We know that they lie about his health. And we also know that he has a surprising lack of information about things that he should know about, but it's hard to compare prior to this because he is a dumb f***. So the fact that he's mixing up names, not remembering people that he's appointed to positions, not knowing all the time where he's going, and that all of his executive orders have to be explained to him. He can't even read off a teleprompter, and the only thing he can present with honor and pride are like renaming things like the DOD or the Gulf of Mexico. All of these things are true. Those four are 100% true. So the fifth thing, the only question is it reasonable to infer from that if Donald Trump experienced a health event that led to a severe cognitive impact, like some sort of stroke, would we expect this administration to tell us? What do you think the answer is to that?
I don't think they will tell.
So then if he's already...
I don't think they can hide it.
Well, but they did. They tried to for 4 days, right? If he's having like ischemic, like
Yeah, they
temporary,
did.
the ischemic strokes or whatever, and he's having some cognitive slowdowns, like how would we know? If
Well,
if
you
he's
don't know
gone
if
for
they're
4
hiding anything. Okay, so if someone lies about something, right, that doesn't necessarily mean like the opposite of what they said is necessarily true, right?
Correct, not necessarily, yeah.
Like, we can't make any definitive statement about whether, like, we just know that what they said is not true.
Yeah, but we
know
can
that they lied
infer
about it.
what they're lying about, right? If you ask your significant other, where were you last night, and you find out they lied about where they were, you're probably not thinking, wow, he said he was going to John's. I know he wasn't at John's. He was probably at Luke's. That's not what you're going to be thinking. You're thinking he was at fucking James or Samantha. He was at some other bitch's house. That's probably what you're going to be thinking, right? Generally, when somebody's lying to obscure the truth, it's not to move from one harmless fact to another harmless fact. It's because you're trying to cover up something that's harming you.
I don't need to know where he is. I know they have successfully now established precedent that he could be completely missing for 3 or 4 days after showing signs of medical issues and then not tell us and then come back and then say nothing happened and he's healthier than ever. That's a concern to me for the future.
So, okay, so hold on. I'm going to go try to address these things one at a time. Dusty, you mentioned significant cognitive slowdown or speech slowdown between 2016 and today, correct?
Yep.
Would you say that that also happened when you go like 2016 Biden versus, I guess, today, or at least the end of his presidency?
A little bit, but Trump's has been more severe, for sure.
You would
I
say
don't
it's more severe?
Absolutely. Comparing 2016 Biden to 2024 Biden, to compare that from 2016 Trump to 2024 Trump, for sure. Biden's, that last debate was pretty rough, but I mean, it's not like Biden started off at a super elevated position. Now, if you want to go back to like 90s Biden, sure. But Trump's slowdown has been significant and severe, for sure.
And then what was it, the second point? She's right. What did you say before about...
They've covered stuff up. We know they've lied about stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, they've
right.
now established precedent. He could be gone for 3 or 4 days, not know what happened, and then say he's healthier than ever and nothing happened. Like, that was kind of the official claim. So, like, that's
But
precedent.
we
right?
don't
Something
know
did
if that's
happen. We know
necessarily
it did
a
happen.
health claim either. Like you're making an assumption that it is a health claim.
We don't, but it is a precedent. If something happened to him, they could successfully hide it for 3 or 4 days. They just did that.
For sure.
Yeah, they could, but again, I will always circle back to that doesn't necessarily determine anything.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a possibility, right?
I mean, I will admit that there's a possibility, but
But there shouldn't be a possibility,
that was
right?
going to be like a possibility of him like being physically or mentally removed, because I think like any debate panel where you're just debating the possibility of something, I think that's kind of like it's kind of hard to argue.
If somebody aims a gun at you because they think it'd be a funny joke and they pull the trigger and there's no bullet inside, right? They didn't actually harm you, and they could do that an infinite amount of times. And if as long as it's empty every time, it's not going to harm you. But you would probably never hang out with that person again just because of the possibility there could be a bullet in one time. If there's even the possibility that the president is lying about his health, and we've already, like, in order to say that that possibility is true, you kind of have to do a lot of groundwork, but this administration has done the groundwork. You would have to lie about his health. They've done that multiple points. You would have to pretend not to even acknowledge big health things. They're doing that right now with the IV and the handshake thing. You'd have to show a propensity to lie about stuff, which they've done as well related. Like, and so all of these circumstances have now been met. And it's like, okay, if something were to happen to him, like everything has been met, why would they not lie about it? It seems like they've already shown the capacity to do all of these things.
I guess, well, there's also a precedent of the fact that he's known for literally every small little thing he's showing up in the media, right? So,
well, except for
I don't
those
think
4
they
days where he
could-
disappeared, right?
Well, except for those 4 days that they disappeared, sure, but he was still forced to show up after those 4 days, right? It's not like it was still missing like up until this day. I mean,
well, sure, but then what if it's 5 days next time? What if there's a huge attack on Ukraine? What if there's a huge attack in Gaza? What if something happens on day 2 of that and our president is fucking Mia?
yes, but that's not what happened. It was literally gone for 4. Or is every time a president is gone for 4 days that we don't see? Are we going to be assuming that they're going to be like either dead or have a stroke, or they're like in like a
He's
wheelchair? Or something like that,
uncharacteristically
or-
absent from everything.
And most administrations
only
aren't
does.
showing a propensity to lie about the health like this. That's
But,
the issue.
okay,
The
but
issue is he's
the-
lied about it now. They've
He
shown
lies
he's
about fucking everything, though.
I
Like,
agree.
don't think-
It's not good.
Yeah. So lying about his health doesn't. This is like the reason why they're lying. Like, if you're always untruthful, then being untruthful about something doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like, what? Okay, what is something about this administration that they were truthful on? Like, can you tell me that? Like, is there anything in this administration that you can like take?
I don't know if
what
I can
Trump
think, but I
said,
don't
or
know.
like what one of his lackeys said, like at their word.
I don't know if I can't think of anything, does this cut in your favor? Because all you're
if
doing,
they're
you can
always
make
lying about
all you're
something,
doing
then
is-
them lying about it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
There's
of
three
course.
Okay.
there's three positions you can have on this. You can either have that we know for a fact that he's healthy. We can either have the second position that we can't really know 100%, or we can have the third position that we know he's not healthy, right? But what we're arguing is that when it comes to the president of the United States, position 2 and 3 are basically the same. I can't have the leader of the free world, of the largest nuclear arsenal of the planet. I can't have that leader's health condition have a high level of opacity to the rest of the world. That should never, ever, ever be in doubt.
Well, isn't that why we have the 25th Amendment, to never put that in doubt? So in case like the president does fall into a sudden health problem, that they're able to very quickly change power from the
But
president.
we don't
to the
know if
vice
they would
president.
do that.
Yeah. And
Well, you don't know
this
if
is
you're
why
going to do that
Clinton-
with any administration.
Well, they probably would, right? When Biden had a bad debate performance, by the way, Biden was showing none of the signs of senility or cognitive decline that Trump is. He just had a really bad debate performance. Okay, Biden wasn't forgetting names of people, not knowing where he was going, forgetting names of world leaders or people that he disappointed, being unable to explain the executive orders. Biden didn't have any of those symptoms. He just sucked ass at a certain debate. Which, if that was disqualifying, then I mean, there's a lot of people that you could talk about for that. But Biden didn't have any of those issues. If Trump has shown issues, and the whole Republican Party just closes their eyes on it. So why would we expect any of them to point any of it out? Obama and Pelosi were bullying Biden behind the scenes about his health stuff, and everything's getting leaked to the media about it. For Donald Trump, the guy disappears for 4 days, and then, like it was said, like was it Carolina or somebody else was like, oh, I didn't even notice he was gone. LOL. Who's even saying anything? Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh.
That's still not. Their propensity to cover up shit still is not a determination.
It's not determinate. We understand that, but it's a
I want to
possibility.
bring it back into this.
It is a possibility.
because it's
Yeah,
a
like
possibility.
how anything is like a possibility. Like
No,
how.
but I
but
just
here's the-
showed you that
this
it
is
wasn't a
why-
possibility with Biden. That didn't seem to be possible.
Wait, you think
This
it
is
was
why
not a
Clinton was
possibility with Biden?
impeached.
Okay.
Because they had a reasonable
You mentioned
concern.
after the debate
North,
with
go ahead and finish your point, then she's right. So North, go ahead.
okay, after the debate with that Biden had with Trump, you mentioned Kamala Harris. Were you going to say that Kamala Harris like took over, like invoked the 25th Amendment and then like took over the powers of like the presidency, or?
Well, I mean, literally, she has before, kind of, not through invocation of the 25th Amendment, but when Biden went under anesthesia for his colonoscopy, she was president for like 2 hours. She had the powers
Is
for
that
it.
under
Yeah.
the 25th Amendment?
It wa- no,
Is,
it
like,
wasn't the
temporary
25th
for, like a
Amendment.
medical thing.
I don't think it was 25th Amendment, but like there was a turnover for it. Donald Trump would never do this.
Didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did that for Surge. Hold on, I have notes on this.
I think he would do that for Wentz.
Hold on.
You're getting into it. She's right. I know you had a point. Go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, so why Clinton was impeached is because they caught him lying about something once, and then the argument, at least, supposedly in good faith, was that because he lied about this, even though it was personal about policy, this means he's now lost his credibility and trust, because who knows what else he could be lying about, right? And that's because that was a possibility that he's lost that credibility. That was enough concern why he'd be impeached, not because he did anything like really bad and directly related to the job, but because that could be the case, and there was a reasonable likelihood of that based on that. So with Trump, his health could go down, he could die, and there's no way we'd know about it. It could happen anytime, and I think that's a reasonable liability, which starts to raise good questions about can and should he do the job.
Oh, and actually, I'm sorry, for Kamala, it was via the 25th Amendment because he wrote a letter and then she transferred powers back afterwards, I think.
Okay, so it was under the 25th Amendment. Hold on.
Yeah.
I swear that Trump went over I guess I was thinking of the COVID thing that happened.
But I think
don't
that was
he-
during the
Yeah,
election
he did
season.
not. Yeah, it was not during the. He couldn't evoke the. 25th.
Oh, no, wait. He was president because I was running against Biden, wasn't it? Yeah, when he got COVID. It wasn't 2016.
2020?
It would have been 2020.
Yeah, 2020, he tested positive for COVID-19, hospitalized at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center.
Did he transfer power to anybody when he was?
Did he?
Ooh, he would
he
have had to
turned to
transfer it
the-
to Pence. Oof.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, Trader Pence is what they call him. Pence, my personal hero.
I don't think he actually did, though. Did he?
Did he?
No, he didn't. He was hospitalized
Interesting.
on October 2nd, or he tested positive on October 7th, and he left the hospital for the White House on October 5th. So that'll be 3 days.
So to me, that's precedent that he's already willing to like jeopardize American interests if he's not capable, rather than admit there's a problem.
But I think there is an argument that could be had that if someone is infected with COVID-19, that they wouldn't have to necessarily invoke the 25th Amendment in order to transfer powers to the VP. Like when because Biden got COVID during his presidency, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
he
but
did.
Biden was vaccinated, so he was supercharged
Yeah,
and ready
he
to
was
go.
vaccinated.
My understanding is, according to that leak combo from
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Biden
Trump was in a bad
transfer his
state.
powers?
Trump was in a bad state for a day or two for the COVID shit. I also don't know if Biden got it. I don't think Biden got it in the first wave, did he? When it was really bad, I think he got like a.
Was
week
Biden
ago.
hospitalized? Is what I'm asking.
I don't think so. I can check.
Let me double check. Yeah.
Nope, the president never went to the hospital. According to a letter posting, treating physician, he only ever experienced mild COVID-19.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Trump wasn't like unconscious or like under some sort of anesthesia, I don't see why they would have to invoke the 25th Amendment in that situation.
Sure, but I don't even think we knew if he was, and I don't think we would know if he was.
Well, he had COVID-19. Is he undergoing some sort of surgery for COVID?
Well, he's fat as fuck, and we know that he was old as fuck, and we know that he was in a rough spot for a day. He could have been out. He could have been on pain meds. He could have been sleeping and like not able to perform the functions. Would we have trusted like COVID positive Trump to come out and lead the United States?
I don't know because
Like he went to the hospital.
There's no like evidence for that.
Hospitalization is severe. That means you have severe. You're if you're in the hospital, you're that's not good, right?
Well, he's the president of the United States. I don't think they would take any chance with that. Like,
Wait. So you're saying
okay?
Biden didn't go to the hospital?
Well, he was.
Yeah, there was no vaccine when Trump was there, and Trump had I think Trump had version
That's a fair
1, the
point.
alpha, right?
Trump also got the really good COVID meds that made him go kind of loopy, that like not everyone could even get. So they did, because he was in a really bad spot. They got him back up, and then he was kind of like a little high for a day, and he was riding around waving to people from the car. He insisted on it. Does anyone remember that? Like that was he was not
No,
a sound mind, but he was still president.
He was put on oxygen twice. How long was he at Walter Reed for? Does anybody know how many days he was in the hospital?
I think it was like 3 days or 2 days or something like that.
2 or 3 days at the hospital? Was he?
Well, if he tested positive for COVID on the 2nd, and then he got out on the 5th. So I don't know. Let's see here now. Later that day, Trump was hospitalized.
How many people do you know that had COVID that went to the hospital for 3 days?
Steroid. We said he's old as fuck. I mean, I think that just comes with being old.
Did every old person who got COVID go to the hospital for 3 days? That's a severe case.
Not every.
Not just old. Well, if you're an old person and you get COVID-19, are you going to, like, if your grandmother got COVID-19, would you send her to the hospital or no?
No, not generally. No, most of them didn't go, even in the first thing. The hospitalizations were severe. That's if you have a severe.
I thought that was like the one thing that COVID was like most like the higher mortality rate was like being old.
It was, but the problem with COVID was it was so infectious and so many people got infected. Not that it was like it had like a 90% lethality rate or something.
Well, yeah, that's the difference between like SARS-1 and CoV-2, I think.
I think we're getting off track, and I think it would be more helpful if we focused on his physical health now, because we've talked about his mental health and kind of exhausted this, and I think we don't know where to go.
I think we've like kind of gone back and forth on whether like his physical and mental health, because his physical health, like we talked about the was it the eye intravenous something? What was it called?
The chronic venous, the big ankle shit.
Well, according to the White House, he's just shaking hands. So
hold on. I don't think it was the shaking hands thing. I think that was just like the bruise, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, what are you asking
By the
about?
way,
Because they hold on. What was it that disease that he got was called?
With the chronic venous, the inability to return blood to the heart? Yeah,
Yes.
That's chronic
Well,
venous
not
something.
inability, but
Venous
like
deficiency.
yeah.
CVI.
by the way, isn't this panel mostly about mental health and not physical?
Could be about
It's
either.
physical and mental health.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
both.
what I advertise.
So looking at the stats of that disease, the chronic venous insufficiency, 1 in 3 people over 50 have CVI. So would you say that 1 in 3 people are necessarily disqualified from the office of the presidency because they have that like disease? Being over the age of 50?
No, but it's worrying that they lied to us about it and that he's getting constant medication for it. How many people are taking like IVs through their hands for stuff like this?
Again, would they take any chance with Trump
What do you mean
when it
taking
comes
a
to
chance?
anything? Like if Trump had any minor medical problem at his age, because he is the oldest president ever in the history of the United States, like would the doctors take any chance with him?
Well, it's taking when you medicate for everything and you test for everything, those are chances as well. You can't just like do everything to a person and think you'll be good. There's a reason why they go by guidelines for stuff, right? If you do every test and every treatment, on the chances are you're going to do more damage than good.
Well, yeah, I guess it's true. I would have to talk to a doctor about that, whether it would be most effective in order to treat via an IV or not for that.
Well, but also
specific
why?
condition.
But they're lying about it. We're assuming it's just the CVS or the CVI thing, right? It could be ischemic strokes or like the transient ischemic strokes, or it could just be a stroke. Like,
Or it could be like colon cancer, but as I said, we don't really know, and because we don't know, that doesn't necessarily qualify or disqualify anything. And you are making an assumption that because they're lying, which they lie about everything, that necessarily means that we should assume that he'll be unhealthy with like everything. Like for all we know, he has like a space disease from bars, and they're lying about it. But
yeah, but the difference is you're arguing between positions 1 and 3, but we're saying positions 2 and 3. We shouldn't be. We can't. If we're in the dark on it, that's just as bad. Because right now, what you're saying is the only way we'll really know is if he's dead. We need to see a body, right? But is that your fair threshold?
well, it's not not necessarily a body, but something more dramatic than what we've seen now. I don't think anything that we've necessarily seen now, like a bruise on his hand or him not being as quick as he was when it comes to like talking. I don't think that's not.
What did we see with Biden?
Diagnosis of anything.
Do you think that Biden was mentally unfit for office?
Do I think Biden mentally unfit? Probably not. Or
Was he-
probably yes. Sorry, yeah, yes. I would say that he.
So
was
what did we see with
fit.
Biden that made us feel like he wasn't fit for office?
His
No,
debate.
I'm saying he was fit mentally, physically with like the whole colon cancer thing. Towards like the end of his presidency, that probably would be disqualifying.
Wait, colon cancer thing?
Why would that be
Or
disqualifying?
colon cancer. Is it
Prostate?
colon cancer? Prostate cancer. That's
Wasn't
what it
that
is.
was only found out afterwards? No.
Wasn't it like pre-diagnosed before? I know there was a New York Times article that was
Also,
released
prostate cancer. That's like the slowest moving cancer in the universe.
or
Like,
New
they don't-
York Post article. That was
They don't
released
even
a little
treat-
while
Why would that be disqualifying?
Yeah.
And I think they were talking about like his health problems might have been before, but they were keeping it secret. But I don't know how true it is. I'm pretty sure the sources from this is from the Trump administration. I have to do more research on that.
Sure.
But why would that be disqualifying, right? Because he hasn't died of like prostate cancer yet. But I think he would still be able to be reasonably concerned. That puts his physical health and well-being at enough of a liability. You wouldn't want to bank on that.
But okay, so you're arguing that even with prostate cancer, that Biden would still be qualified to be.
Yeah, prostate cancer. That's like a
So
pussy.
why
That's
would he not be qualified?
Yeah, that's a pussy cancer. It doesn't do shit. They don't even treat it when you get it.
But so you're going to argue that prostate cancer is still going to qualify Biden, but Trump.
No, I'm
having-
not saying that.
or-
Why would prostate cancer disqualify Biden? What are your concerns?
Well, I'm assuming if you're on cancer meds, it's probably going to up your mental your mental state, especially if you're taking like painkillers or something like that for.
Depending on your age, they don't even treat prostate cancer because it spreads so slowly that they figure you'll die before it even does anything.
What's the like the average? Like, how long does it take to kill the average person with prostate cancer?
Such that like past 70, I think they literally stop screening for it. They don't even screen you for it because if you get diagnosed with it, they don't treat it anyway.
Okay.
First of all, CVI does cause pain, and we know Trump's on at least aspirin, maybe more. Severe pain. So, if you're worried about pain, and then might mean you take painkillers, that bar we've already met with Trump. Is that your only concern? Why prostate cancer would be disqualifying?
Well,
Because,
yeah,
yours?
if he was on some sort of medication that would be affecting like his mental state, I guess. That would be a
Like
concern.
Trump was when he was on the COVID meds and he went insane and drove around waving to all his fans.
Well, we don't know what medication he was on with the COVID meds.
We do.
Well, he was on remdesivir. He had to have oxygen a few times, meaning that
He was on remdesivir. What is remdesivir?
it's like an anti-bullshit thing that, is that a retroviral? Remdesivir? Who remembers what that is? But he
It's
did
an
all.
antiviral medication used to treat COVID-19 in hospitalized patients and mild to moderate cases in non-hospitalized patients.
In a few years, but that was the time it was like early COVID. Trump caught it early when like it was hard to get any meds for it, and they gave Trump all the good stuff, and he was a little loopy. And people were jealous because they couldn't get that themselves.
Hold on, I'm still confused. What is the evidence for him being loopy? I've not seen anything like this before.
This is like a 5-year-old news story. We can look it up together if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. That's why we're here.
Well, he was at the
Also-
hospital for 3 days. Wait, when we say hospital for 3 days, like he's not just like sitting up, like laughing and giggling, right? Like if you're hospitalized for COVID, like you understand that it's like you're not having a good time. You're probably sleeping the majority of that time. You're probably out, right?
Okay, here's a question to you. At what point does one's physical health disqualify you from remaining in the office of the presidency, in your opinion?
When you're capable of discharging the duties of the office, isn't that what the 25th says?
Well, yeah, that is what it says. Well, faithfully upholding the duties of the office. Is that actually in the 25th Amendment, or is that in the Article 2? Hold on.
See, related to this, I think if someone had prostate cancer, a reasonable concern would not just be whether they're on painkillers, but by virtue of having that condition, there's a very high likelihood you could die, probably pretty soon. And that's why wouldn't someone want someone who is dying or could die very soon to be in the presidency? I would think that's a reasonable liability. It would be best for them. It would be best for the country if they were not serving. I think it's a danger to, especially their ability and a personal investment in acting on behalf of long-term interests of tomorrow. And I don't think Trump is there.
Do you think that Trump was going to die when he had COVID or near death, like close enough to be like a warning with it?
I mean, I don't know. He was pretty sick. I don't know about that. I do know right now he's disappearing for days. He has signs of cardiovascular health problems, and he's 79.
Hold on.
Like
Have
shit.
any? Okay, hold on. Wait. I don't understand why we're downplaying this. Have any of you guys had inpatient hospital stays? Where you've been at the hospital for overnight?
I have.
What did you have? If you don't mind. sharing?
When I was a kid, broke my arm. I've had multiple, I'm going to say unspecified surgeries throughout my entire life to treat a certain condition.
Okay, and were you at the hospital for 1 day, for 3 days, for 5 days?
I was in the hospital for, when I was like 5 or 6, I broke my arm and they kept me in the hospital for a couple of days.
Okay, so for like, if you're not having a surgery and you're being kept in the hospital for 3 or 4 days.
No, I did have a surgery.
No,
They
I
had
know,
to,
I
like,
know. I'm saying,
open
but I can understand,
yeah.
right? You're breaking bones, right? But if you don't even have like a broken bone, you're not having a surgery, you're kept in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, then this is you're having a bad time with the disease. Like the reason why you're at the hospital is because if you don't go to the hospital, you could die, right?
I guess that's a possibility. Yeah.
Well, not just a possibility. That's why they have. It's not like they don't have any health stuff at the White House, right? They've got oxygen and shit there, which is what they were giving him. But his blood oxygen levels kept falling low. They took him to Walter Reed and they kept him there for 3 or 4 days. So this is a severe course of COVID-19. This is like the shit that you're worried about somebody dying from.
Okay,
Right.
then yeah, I guess I will concede to you that when he had COVID during in 2020, that he should have invoked the 25th Amendment in order for Mike Pence in order to temporarily take over the office of the presidency while he was hospitalized. But that still doesn't. I don't think that necessarily says anything about his current his current health stats today. I mean, like you could be concerned about his. You were talking about how Biden had the like the COVID vaccine and all that, and I know according to his health report, at the very least, he's fully vaxxed up on everything.
Based.
So, like, yeah, I need to get my booster shot.
Okay,
to
wait.
be
Well,
honest.
let's just, for the 4 of us in here, okay? $20 bet. I'll say this right now to each of you too. Okay.
I'll do a $100 bet.
Each of us
Fuck
will
it.
go. Okay. $100 bet. You have to keep streaming. You can't disappear. Okay. I bet you,
Okay.
and I wouldn't pray this on anyone. Okay, FBI who's still watching me. Okay, I wouldn't pray this on anybody. But I bet Trump will die before Biden does.
That is a bet.
Okay, there you go. Boom.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
Good. All right. Vince.
I'm not sure. I'm not a big gambler.
Okay.
So all right, this seems like a good point. Because it seems like I think I got an idea of what the panelists agree and disagree on. So it sounds like you all agree that there could be information that exists right now that, if known by the public, would make most people agree that he should be disqualified from office, right? Does everyone agree that is a possibility right now?
It's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like the issue right now is whether or not, like, how comfortable we are with the fact, because even North, you said that, like, you're aware that this administration lies constantly and that they very well could be lying about the existence of this information. So do we fault them with the fact that they could be lying about the existence of that information or not? Because it sounds like from your perspective that basically we don't fault them, because if that information does exist and they lie about it and we're not holding that against them, then from your perspective, okay, so we can't make any kind of assumption.
We should fault them for that. I mean, of course, if this administration lies about the health problems, like they lie about anything, they should be held accountable for that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't necessarily correlate to whether Trump is physically or mentally fit. Is sort of my point. Him lying about his health doesn't. Yeah, my point's already been said.
I guess like, and you all can talk about this. Like, I'm just mostly interested in hearing the conversation go in this direction, because it's like trying to understand your perspective, North. It sounds like you're saying essentially that unless there is absolute dispositive proof that is publicly available that shows that he should not be serving in office, then we should not support him anymore. But I guess my problem, and it sounds like this is the problem that She's Right and Destiny are also raising, is like, well, if they're lying about it, then like what do we do then? Like, you know, what the fuck do we make of the situation then? Because like they're holding all the cards, they control whether or not that information is publicly available or not, short of him falling literally dead.
Well, as you said, there's literally nothing that we can do. I mean, like, as I said, they hold the cards. We could win the 2026 midterms and maybe try to invoke an impeachment. But this is, I think, focusing on Trump's health, especially, as you said, we can't do anything about it. In the end of the day, it doesn't really do much. We should be focusing on the shit that could be impeached for, like that recent thing, the Venezuela shit with JD Vance. I don't know if Trump can personally be impeached for that comment, but holy fuck.
Okay, Vince, and your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that there should be a like super 100% proof for us to impeach him or anything. If we like, what can we do about this? I think we can't do anything, and that's pretty scary. But I guess it is what it is.
I don't think
So
Trump will make it through
2-2.
this term. I think he'll be gone before the end.
Oh yeah. So two like opposition panelists here. I guess to everyone here, would you agree that a third party should release, like, do a full medical examination and release Trump's medical records?
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
I think they wanted to talk about doing this UFC thing outside the White House. It should be the old rules. It should be Trump versus Biden, and they should fight, and the winner should be the new president.
I think
Right.
why UFC? They should get into like an old style duel, 20 paces, pistols. They try firing at each other, and they'll just keep shooting until one of them falls.
Jesus.
Yeah.
This is what Rudy Giuliani wanted, right? On January 6th, he shouted.
Is that seriously what the
fuck
fuck he said? Holy fuck.
He said trial by combat, and then the crowd went, yeah, it feels like a movie clip. Like some Starship Trooper shit.
It's actually insane. My sarcasm isn't as funny when it's reflected in real life.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, well,
Okay.
good talk, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting.
All right, so I mean, like, we could wrap it up at the hour, but I guess just because this feels very unsatisfying to me. Like,
well, the
I
issue is
feel
that
like,
the issue is that on the truthful arguments, I don't know. I guess 100% where She's Right stands. Like, we can't know 100%. I can't say that Trump should be gone because of the 25th Amendment. But the argument is really that conservatives will insisted for so long that Biden's health was failing him in so many different ways. And the only evidence was basically, it was either a bunch of stuff that was just clipped incorrectly. Like, one thing made it look like he was staring off into the distance and then turned around randomly, but like it was because the aspect ratio changed and there was just a person that he was looking at and then he turned around, or that he was like clearly cognitively insufficient because of it was a horrible debate performance, of course. But then when you turn it around on Trump, like they have lied about Trump's health. Trump said he was open about his health constantly. He said, oh, let's do a cognitive test and blah, blah. Well, now we know they've lied about his health. They lied about his weight. That whole report came out that said he had he was 180 pounds, 6% body fat, 27-inch elephant cock. And the only problem was the extreme scarring on his ear relating to the gunshot wound. And the only thing we don't see on him at this point is any scar from that supposed gunshot wound, right? So it seems like there has been so much to cover up Trump's health, right? The COVID shit was insane. That guy was dying in the hospital. I don't care what anybody says. Biden admitted it when he was caught recording, talking to the Chinese media people. Apparently, the New York Times reported his blood oxygen was 86. Sub 90 is like, this motherfucker might die. So just with all of that taken into account, for them to pretend that everything is okay, that's just wild. But these guys aren't like huge Trump defenders, so they're not going to take the stronger position there. To be fair, yeah.
You mentioned the what's it called? The scarring on his ear, and then you mentioned no scarring. Are you a believer in the conspiracy theory that it was all a staged event, that the assassination was fake?
No, because they're too incompetent to do anything. If he tried to stage his own assassination, he'd probably end up dead because he's retarded. I am a believer in the conspiracy theory, though, that because I saw some clip together videos that the actual blood came from the Secret Service agent when he was diving, and his holstered pistol smacked him in the ear when he was diving to cover him. I am a fan of that theory.
I never heard of that theory before.
There's a lot of video evidence that makes it look compelling, but who knows?
Maybe they wanted to kill the firefighter.
Or that too. I don't know who that
Maybe
guy's
they
enemies
preferred
were.
it.
Maybe God wanted
Yeah.
to.
Oh.
Well, he was
Okay,
pro
so
Russia.
I will
so
say that it is very interesting, and I don't know how to explain this. And I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation I haven't thought of. Everybody in that motherfucking audience had phones on, was recording shit. I don't think a single cell phone video has been released of that incident from behind. Has there been?
No, there's been a ton of them like recording him on like the roof and all that, and them like trying to get police. There's been a couple.
No,
I've
no,
seen
no,
it.
no, not of the shooter, of Donald Trump.
Oh, you mean like of him like on the ground? Or
No, like of anybody in the audience that was recording like Trump from behind. Has there been?
I can't say that I know anything off the top of my head.
Maybe there has been.
Well,
I
here's
just
the
haven't
thing:
seen
there'd
anything.
only be bad angles because all the good seats they give to the paid token minorities they get on Craigslist to fill all the front row. So anyone who actually cares would be like way far back. It wouldn't be good.
Damn. But yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, I think is the difference in treatment there. Yeah.
Well, I certainly hope. I mean, I guess I'll leave it here. I hope that this is a standard. Like me listening to this, and y'all can believe whatever you want to believe. I just need to find a way to find some like crazier far right guys, because they're like, so you all would hold the same standard for Biden, to be clear. Like you would extend the same level of charitability where you need like perfect evidence in order to, like, you need like perfect public evidence that there is something that exists that would be disqualifying in order for you to think that any president should be disqualified under the 25th Amendment. Is that essentially your position?
I'd like to see some sort of like medical report or something like that. Yeah.
Same.
Okay. And the fact that they could have that information but just not release it, that is of no concern to you.
That is
Well,
pretty
I don't.
important.
Well, it depends. Like, right to privacy with medical reports and stuff. I don't know how that necessarily applies to the president or not. And I also don't know off the top of my head how like the releasing medical reports. I don't know if that's like a requirement by the presidency or if that's like an annual thing or like a biannual thing or anything like that, or like just when they come in. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Okay. I feel like if there were, I don't know, yeah, in the future I'll try to find finalists who I feel like would, because I feel like that right now a double standard is being imposed insanely. But that's my personal opinion. Y'all can have your beliefs, and it sounds like you have more reasonable views than other people who I would probably be more critical of. So anyway, all right, then in that case, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Everyone will go around and have people give final statements and outros. So in that case, Vince, we'll start with you and then work around in some order. Vince, go ahead.
Yeah, well, as I said, I don't think Trump is mentally incapable, physically for that matter. I think there should be definitely concrete evidence to disqualify him, and I would apply the same standard to Biden, which there wasn't a concrete evidence, but I think Biden's debate performance was pretty bad and showed some signs of a significant mental decline. So yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm already doing outros. North, go ahead.
I think I've said what I've already said. I mean, they lie about his health stuff, but they lie about everything. There's been no definitive proof about anything, whether his health is good or bad. But I think we should probably operate under the assumption, like we do with every president, that his health is probably just fine normally.
Okay. She's right, show.
Yeah, I don't know why the corrupt Trump administration is afraid of letting a independent third party release a full health report and accounting of where he's been this week. I think the people deserve to know. I think currently Trump's physical health makes him a liability who brings lame duck energy to any serious negotiations. And I think that's a danger to stable American governance.
Cool. And Stephen, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that I think our current admin is severely damaged and undermined its own credibility by still refusing to acknowledge what kind of IVs he's getting. I think that this could be a rare circumstance where even our enemies are also incentivized to keep this information under wraps because it gives them a lot of leverage and negotiating power. So, yeah, not good. Get them out.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to wrap this up before I go crazy. People can go out and do you all want to shout out your socials? See if people know who you are. North, She's Right, Vince, you want to shout out your socials?
She's right. You can go first.
Sure, thanks. She'sRightShow.com.
Vince?
Yeah, so it's Real Visigoth. It's RealVisigoth. And also, after we say that, I want to ask RGR, are we ever going to have a panel on foreign policy?
It'll depend. I generally am more interested in topics that are relevant to the U.S. political scene. Maybe the future is yet to be seen, but it's not something that is out of the question.
Yeah.
North, do you want to shut yourself up?
Yeah, you can find me live at North is Live on YouTube, or you can find me on X at That Guy's North. You can see me talking about the hypocrisy of the current Republican Party, and you can also see me talk about aviation on Twitter. So yeah.
Cool. And even if I am slightly frustrated, I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here. Steven, thank you so much for being here. North, Vince, thank you for being here. I know that a lot of the arguments were pointed at your positions, but I do appreciate you being here. It takes a lot to be able to get up and defend unpopular positions in the space, so I really appreciate you. And She's Right. Thank you so much for coming out again. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors in this online space. And for people who are watching, we're going to take a small break because I need to go onto TikTok. All right. I need to find where where all the new debate people are. All right. You all can help me recruit more people. Wait for midterm. Well, listen. All right. We got to be ready. We got to be ready to go when they come around. All right.
No, I mean, like the conservatives, like I think after they won, the problem is that like the vibe is that like the conservative shit has just gotten so out of hand. Like they don't even try to defend their shit anymore. I think they realize it's like kind of wacky. So they just like watch clip compilations and they don't have much adversarial. Like it's happened. It's not just in this space. It's like all the media right now. Everybody's like kind of locked in their own little.
That's one of the major criticisms I have of the current Republican establishment is basically they've moved on and basically betrayed every single position that they used to hold. And I find that terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like it's, we're dealing with a lot of, everyone's kind of just fortress arcing right now.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but I don't know. I have reason to believe at least that there are still some people who do this, maybe like more people who are like younger, haven't like started seriously live streaming, but who might be interested in getting into it, who are on like the TikTok space. So I'll check that in a little bit. But yeah, so I'll wait to schedule another panel until I have a better roster of people. But I am glad that people are interested in this, and I'm glad that this has. I don't know. I've still enjoyed this. So thank you all for coming around and participating.
It was fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And also, what is going to be the topic of the next panel?
I'll figure it'll be a little bit. I want to make sure that whenever I schedule something, that's going to be a topic that's timely and that people will be interested in. So we'll, take a rain check on that. I made some notes about stuff that would be interesting to me, but I'll, I want to have the people first, and then I'll figure out a topic after that.
Okay.
Find some real crazy Epstein's friends defenders. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Have fun.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.